Okay, hopefully the audio has begun. While we wait for the transfer request amendment to be completed from ICASA, or from ICASA side at least, this will probably be the last video for, well, who knows how long, but I'll see what we can do in order to speed up the process. We'll try and make a plan. However, what I would like to do on this video is just cover the application process for a second or third or fourth or unlimited number of alternate legal entities. Now, I think this is basically for businesses more specifically, or those that are conducting a business. So even if you are a radio amateur, if you're not a radio amateur, the same principle will apply, that you as the individual should create the first legal entity, but then you don't apply for licenses in your own name. You can apply for licenses in your company's name, or if you are a, let's call it a service provider, you could in actual fact request to do the licensing on behalf of your customers. Now, I want to try and go through the steps as best we can. I'm not too sure at what point we will in actual fact bail out on the video, because as I said, I do not want to go past that point of no return. I do want to get to the point where I can cancel and delete that particular application. So we will try and deal with it appropriately as we move forward. So let's see which way we're going. Firstly, we're going to kick in the screen share. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work on my account, not on Carl's account, because on my account I've got alternate legal entities that are already set up on my system. Or at least on my login. So then at least I can refer back and say, guys, this is what it actually looks like, and this is what you can look out for, and you'll know what it is that you're dealing with to a degree. And please note, I say to a degree because as you've seen on some of the previous videos, the descriptions, definitions, statements are ambiguous, to say the least, and not entirely clear. Whether accurate, they definitely are, because they do get to a particular point or arrive at a particular point, thereby meeting that objective. So let's kick off. We're going to go into an application. Again, those of you that remember watching, and if you haven't watched it yet, please go and have a look at the video that says that you should not do what radio amateurs should not do. So if you are a radio amateur and you haven't watched that video yet, I definitely encourage you to go and have a look at it first. Okay, so as you recall then, having watched the video, that once you go to the ICASA online, you go to apply, it again gives you that option to apply for, and in most cases, it will be your own personal name. I also, by not understanding exactly what the site was doing, I used a trading as name, in this case, Income Assist. And well, even though it's relevant, I could have kept it in my personal name, full stop, without the trading as. And of course, to try and get that changed on the system does become a little bit difficult. So we will try and figure that one out as we move forward. However, that's not the purpose of this video. Purpose of this video is to have a look at your application on behalf of another person or private entity, or legal entity, whichever way, legal persona you want to consider it to be. Radio amateurs responsible for clubs and club licensing. Guys, you must remember that your constitution grants your club the identical legal status that you as an individual hold. In some cases, it might be limited in terms of your constitution, but they basically have the identical rights that you hold as an individual. So you need to apply for your club license, which, if you take a close look at it, is already in the club's name. And this is where you're going to use the on behalf of. So again, we wait, and fortunately it has sped up. Now, if you've already created other legal entities, so your main logon consisting of the primary legal entity, if you have made an application on behalf of another, a second, a third, a fourth, etc., legal entity, they will be listed here. In most cases, for the radio amateurs, those specifically looking at club licenses, you won't have anything here. So let us quickly just clear out what it is that these 4 buttons are in actual fact going to do. And simply put, the exact same thing as all the other buttons under the manage, where you can apply for a new license, and then it will list all of the various types, CB radio, you name it, the aeronautical, maritime, it's all there. Or to look at amending of the legacy license, which means that your club license, which is already in actual fact valid, operational, and on the old system, you have got a legacy license in that legal entity's name. But before you can amend or request that transfer, you need to apply for on behalf authorization. And that is covered under this button here. So applying on behalf of another person, company, or private entity ultimately begins at this point. And of course, when you click on it, we'll fortunately didn't see that loading, which seems to have been sorted out. So yeah, they actually provide a couple of steps. Firstly, search for the entity and check authorized to upload. Well, yeah, I thought we were applying for. So that one, it says now, if no matches are found. So, okay, well, then I suppose it might be an idea to actually put in the club name, the full club name as it appears on your license, and click search. And then we can follow with step 2. It says if no matches are found in the table below. Guys, I'd recommend that you actually do that, because you never know. Your details or the club's details may in actual fact already be there. So it says if no matches are found in the table below after using the search, see step 3. Okay, we won't make any comment there, but we'll go on and say, in order to apply for on behalf authorization, the entity first needs to be separate, to be verified in a separate process. Click on New Company Private Entity. Okay, now that is ultimately where we're going to go to if you do not see your legal entity listed below. So let's click on it. There we go. We're right back to the same registration details sequence of events that we did for the primary legal entity. You can select it as a business, an individual, or an association. So again, as a club, you can do it as an association. And the difference in this case would be, if the club now needs a new license, like a Beacon or Digipeater or Repeater, regardless, here you can apply for a new well, you'd need to look at new or existing customer, and you'd have to probably go with new. So let's go with new and see if we can bail out at some point. Right, association registration details, here we go. All the information that's needed, the postal information, upload an ID document, upload the constitution, any others, click submit. So in essence, the difference being, instead of just your RSA ID as we saw on the previous and the uploading of other documents, we've now got the constitution. And I'm almost certain that if we go back here, well, I'm not going to go back. I'm actually, let's see, what are we going to do? Let's say exit and then go back and manage, or go back and apply. Let's go back and apply. On behalf of, apply on behalf of, we haven't put any names in, therefore there shouldn't be any application as yet. We'll say new. Again, we're going to look at association, and if we say existing, what does it actually give us? So I'm just trying to highlight some of the difference in the pages, if it's asking for anything different. But you can see that at this point, we've basically got the same process to be followed. And it's virtually the same process as what we've just done on a previous video, setting Kyle up as the primary legal entity. All right, so once we've gone through all of that, of course, you will get to the point where it says awaiting or in progress, and we need to wait for ICASA to actually approve the particular legal entity. And then when they do, if, for example, now we go to apply and we go on behalf of, once they have approved it, you will, under your company name or association, you will in actual fact see the name of the legal entity, at which point you either then do the amend legacy license or you apply for a new license. So it's really the same process that's been utilized as what we have previously done. There's really no reason for me to go and recreate the wheel here. If you understand the previous process, you're going to do exactly the same thing here. I've shown you under the apply, the amend. Let's just click on it and give you an idea of what it says. It's probably going to ask you for your existing license and invoice. There we go. It's exactly the same as what we have done on a previous video, although at this point we probably haven't done it because yeah, Carl's has done. We did that one this morning on Carl. That's where I took the 00 out and I took the hyphens out and all the rest of it. So I'm going to cancel it. Therefore, I don't think there's any reason why we should actually go through this aspect again, except to say, look, you can see the association name. If you are registering on behalf of a club and you've done the apply for on behalf of that club, just bear in mind that the one document that they will require is that power of attorney or authority for you in your personal name to do the application. So just make sure that in essence through your committee, your secretary and chairman signs off on a document, or vice chairman signs off on a document specifying that Joe Blogs may apply for whatever license through ICASA. Just submit that as the other document so that ICASA can in actual fact see, look, okay, Joe Blogs, you are applying on behalf of the association. You're not taking chances here, and your committee is aware of it. Therefore, your club members should be aware of it. All right, there we go. We've got all the required legal documentation in order to create the legal entity within which you can apply for licenses. And I think that's basically it in a nutshell. The rest of these just really duplication. in essence, we're dealing with 4 or 5 screens. And as I've said previously, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to really understand what's going on here, guys. Just keep a cool head. Stop listening to the fools that are talking and complaining and moaning and groaning and are not worried, not concerned about progress, moving forward, and all the rest of it. You will find that once you've actually got all your documentation sorted out here, and I think both you and ICASA have overcome the obstacles, bearing in mind that new software applications always require debugging. That can take several months, depending on what happens. But when you tell a group of people not to do anything, how do they debug it? When you are given that instruction or command, which it seems to be a command, do not do anything. I mean, like, really, are you sheep or are you an individual? And I need to stress the point. Come and try it. As a developer, I'm the first one to encourage you. Go and try it. Let's give ICASA a hard time on the application. Let's show them where the bugs are, and etc., etc. Yes, I hear that the guys are complaining about maybe off of the Linux, and Safari apparently works from what I can see on the phone. So if you got Safari on your Linux system, you shouldn't have a problem. So what are you moaning and complaining and groaning about and having a typical amateur history fit? Bring it to an end. Get onto the system. Try it. Find the bug. In all honesty, I'm prepared to say, look, send me an email with a question. I'll reply. That is what I will do for radio amateur as a whole in this country. Because for me, that is a service. It's not a hobby. If you want a hobby, go and play with your easy fit. Enjoy it. Good luck to you, all the rest. So come on, guys. Go and give it a bash. Log on. I used to tell my customers when I developed software, go for it and see if you can break me. Because that's the only way you get to know where the bugs are in your software. Certain of the web browsers, I can understand why ICASA and other government institutions may not utilize those applications because of the way that the back-end software and databases and functionality and everything else, in actual fact, integrate with the browser superficially behind the scenes, and so unfortunately, guys, you will have to find a solution for your browser. Mac users, the same thing applies to you. I'm not a Mac user. I can't help you on that one, except to say I do know that on a Mac machine you can load Windows. So maybe you might have to look at that and definitely ensure that all your Windows operating systems are running Edge. It will work. Again, I encourage you, step up to the plate. And if ICASA is listening, listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. Radio amateurs, give them hell on their application, because the more you can get them to correct today, the better it will be for you next year and the year after, and you won't be going through all of this aggravation you are currently going through. I mean, my dealer license, 24 hours sorted, no problems, no interaction, no telephone calls at this stage. No emails. I don't expect anybody to call me back. It's done, dusted, and that's it. My license is issued, and I believe that when they work through the backlog and they iron out whatever other problems that they might be working on, there we go. We'll be sorted out. So on that note, guys, wash your hands, sanitize, wear your masks, physically distance yourself. Be safe, be prepared, and of course, be happy. I'm just biting my tongue here because I can say so much more. So have a good one. 73 Z6 OPS. I'm out.